Good morning. Today I'm talking about our T-Series Tone Lord pedal, and this is one of our high-end pedals. And by high-end in our case, what we mean is advanced electronics, huge amounts of design time, and a completely different kind of circuitry to anything you'll find in other pedals. So this is a clean boost. Now let's get out of the way. There's no simple transistors, there's no vintage esoteric parts in this. What there is in this is studio grade advanced active circuitry. It's pure analog. So if you're looking for a classic vintage tone that makes you sound like everyone else, you're in the wrong place. If you're looking to do something new, exciting, with lower noise, loads of versatility, loads of tone modes, welcome to the club. Well, let's get it open. Ta-da! Now I'm going to try a little bit of manual zooming on this to try and get the focus, because the auto is rubbish. There we go. So it's getting close to that. Now I'm rushing this video a little bit because I never have time to do really cool up-to-date videos like everyone else and edit them, so I'm too busy designing. So the first thing is the looks. They're designed in these trapezoid chassis partly to look a little bit different and original, but also because I think they fit really well into all sorts of different pedal boards with our jacks on the top. And that wedge means if you want to tilt them a little on a curved pedal board, you can. If you don't, you're not really losing anything. We've other hardware features. Let's get out of the way. We've got the soft touch. You can hear a very slight click in that. That uses a waterproof, dustproof, sealed switch in there. Highest possible quality. So, I mean, time will tell, but we think that hopefully should last forever. And if it doesn't, we've got backups and we'll get you sorted. So really, really high quality silent switch, very soft touch. You can use that in studio with your fingers, wherever you like, or just with a foot. Alp switches. Japanese Alp switches, really great feel. Again, long life, reliability. Metal shaft pots for smooth motion and turning with decent sized control knobs. There is a really, really good advantage to having large control knobs over small ones, and the very simple fact is the mechanical advantage of that gives you more control and accuracy. When you're trying to turn one of these tiny little mini control knobs, I challenge you to actually have, say, 20 steps of control. In reality, your smallest possible turn you can manage your finger is going to mean that you've only really got maybe 10 steps of control, unless you're going crazy. And repeatability is impossible, fine-tuning is impossible. The physical interaction with your control knob is so important, and most people don't realize how it affects your tone, because if you can't access your tone easily, you can't dial a tone in easily. So those lovely little mini pedals are no good for dialing in tone. A decent sized control knob lets you get an incredible amount of fine tuning and say, I just want a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Whereas when you've got a little mini knob like the size of one of these buttons, you're just like turn, 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 and it becomes more like an on-off switch. So really nice sized control knobs, a really great feel, and again a really great feeling switch for our tone mode. Of course, the cliff-based jacks, which have a higher, thicker coating of nickel plating on them, which means they're not going to corrode and wear out as quick as other ones. Even little details like making sure that the LED is not glaringly bright. So a huge amount of attention to detail. The visual aspect of the print, we're really proud of this. These are prints using white ink layered on first with colours on top. We do use a kind of sticker, but they're an industrial grade sticker developed for us by a really, really high-end manufacturer that are actually laminated. And these are going to outlast most paints. You know, your chipped and flaking pedal in 20 years, you're going to put it side by side with this, and this is still going to look good. So don't knock the sticker. On these latest pedals, we've had them laser cut as well, so they fit really, really nice. And we've got long life adhesives, so they'll stay on forever as well. So it really gives us the ability, this sort of sticker system. I mean, I call it sticker, that's derogatory, you know, but it's so much more. But basically, this is designed to give us this incredible colour, the ability to do wraparound prints very easily, and very, very long life as well. So build quality amazing. Oh, and the solid, very thick metal chassis, of course, and so high usability all around. Let me get back on my face a little. Now, that's great. Physical's great. What about the circuit? I said it's a very high-end modern circuit. So we use op amps, active circuitry, and the core feature of this, of course, is our tone eras. So each tone era dials in a whole different capacitor, filter, EQ bank that gives you some boost, some roll off, different frequency curves, and we've tuned each one for what we perceive as a certain era. They originally came out of me listening to certain albums, like the 60s sound was, let's be honest, it was out of me listening to the Doors album and saying what kind of sound is inherent in that, and so it was based on that. And I forget offhand the others, but the Naughties one, which is a new model, a new mode on this version, because we've been making a few versions of this before, is just extra thick, because I just wanted a really thick bass, sort of heavy sound that suited people who wanted to lift lower frequencies out of the mix a little bit for the 8 strings, 7 strings, and bass crowd having fun. Oh, that's the main feature. Now, another thing that differs on this version is that when you pick your tone era, you also can pick, let me zoom in again on this a little bit. You can also pick, let's go in front the amount of that tone era by using the tone boost control. So this dials in the amount. So with the 60s era, we start here, which only gives us sort of 2 or 3 dBs of that tone, and then, well, we're in 70s, it dials it up here to give us like 9, 10 dBs. It's a little bit, it's very analog this, so it depends on the circuit. The gain boost is our clean boost, and it goes from a slight cut, which is to compensate for the tone boost. So if you had the tone boost up high, you might have more boost than you actually wanted, so you might cut a little. So it starts a slow cut and goes up to, again, I kind of forget off the top of my head, like 20 odd dBs of boost. The different buttons add different modes in. So the HN03 adds in a kind of treble bypass to the gain boost, making it a bit like a bright gain switch for this. More gain, more boost. The Oxy 2 adds in a certain amount of, opens up the top end. It actually changes the filter banks on all of these slightly to give them a higher frequency response and lift the top end a little more. And Nova, which is kind of my favorite. Now, Nova only works if you dial the gain boost up past 3/4. It only really works in this last little section here. And what it does is it brings in some soft clipping diodes. So this won't be anywhere near an overdrive or distortion. It's a saturation kind of sound when you do that. So we've got all these incredible features, all very low noise, very high gain, loads of output. And of course, you can run this pedal off 12 volt and 18 volt as well as 9, which will give you higher headroom. And if you do that, it will also change the saturation quite a lot. So there's an awful lot going on. Now, I just wanted this to be as quick as I reasonably could manage in terms of describing it, so I'm not going to carry on much longer. This one isn't a audio demo, as I will have added a note. The final sort of thing, of course, with this is you can take the back off, and there is a modular socket in the back for future expansion. So when you get this pedal, you will notice there is an MDK port. Out of the box, normally that will do nothing. It doesn't do anything, you can just ignore it. It's an expansion port, and if you purchase an MDK module and slot it in the back in future, and those will be available cheaply, they're not going to be an expensive upgrade, then that module will enable you to add an expression-based effect to your pedal. And there's all sorts of different things, including remote switching, possibly MIDI control, I'm working on that, as well as traditional things like wahs and filters and all sorts of really interesting stuff I've got lined up. That's for the future. Once we've got a few more of these T-Series out there, I'm going to launch those add-ons as an extra package, so there's a whole bunch of choice all at once, rather than confuse the issue right now. So we're really, really proud of this. I'm hugely proud of this. I've been making Clean Boost for forever because I think they're the most versatile, most useful pedal you can own on the board. A Clean Boost can overload a tube amp, it can give you a solo boost, it can change things, it can unlock other sounds from your distortions. Any overdrive or distortion with a Clean Boost in front becomes a whole new sound. There is just so much you can do with them. If you're lost in the mix and you can't be quite heard in your room, you know, against the other band members, a quick twist of a EQ-based, tone-based boost, and you're back in the mix, you're back heard. If you're actually dominating someone and got too much, again, a different click, and you can bring yourself out. They're so useful. And in many ways, they differ from just sort of saying having an EQ, because the problem with an EQ is, unless you've got a fully parametric EQ and all the time in the world to dial that in, which goes against my ethos that you're a player. You want to just hit a few controls and have a lot of sounds through minimal interface. But unless you're really a studio guy, you know who wants to be dialing in all those control knobs and understanding, fine tuning that stuff. It's really, really difficult. Oh, there you have it. That's my introduction to this. This is basically our second T-Series, and I'm really pleased to get it out there. And I hope you guys buy one, love one. If you've got one, you're using it, please tell me about it either in the comments or anywhere else, or send me a message. I always love to hear about these things. So I'll try and get some really cool audio videos this done. Like I say, I just don't have the time right now. We're so busy here. There's so much going on. But I wanted to put this overview out there so you had something that summarizes the features. Cheers. See you soon.